Tom Mealy from Madhouse TV, and when I'm not at the studio, I'm here at the Harrison Law Group. This is my real job. In this January 2015, Brett and I are putting together a show called Legal Straight Talk. It'll be aired on Cablevision as well as here at Madhouse TV. You need to tune in. This information that we're going to be giving the public is the real deal. It's all about what you should do, what you shouldn't do. So tune in this January 2015 for a new episode of Legal Straight Talk.
Hi, I'm Jerry Parisi. Join Tom Mealy and Tommy Marr right here on Cablevision Channel 20 each week for an interesting episode of The Long Island View.
I am Tommy Marr,
otherwise known as the Maverick Soul,
and I am live in the Madhouse
for my show, Maverick Soul Hour.
Come and join us. It's the place to be.
Right here on Madhouse TV, Sunday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We will put you out to the entire world.
You got that right.
I'm Violetta Analakari.
And I'm Leland Prater.
And I'm Shirley Nichols. And I'm watching Madhousetv.com.
You're watching Madhousetv.com. Stay tuned for the Filmmaker Show starring Jerry Parisi.
Hi everybody, Jerry Parisi here, and welcome to the Filmmaker Show tonight here on Madhouse TV. And I have some interesting guests tonight. I also have Michelle Parisi here co-hosting with me, and to my right, or to your stage left, Michael Santo. And Michael's got a very, very interesting project. But before we go into that, I just want to tell you my experience this weekend. I was invited with my wife Michelle down to Florida, and that would be over at Cape Canaveral and Cocoa Beach. We had been guests on a brand new show that's coming on the air, and I want you all to know it's coming. It's called Tracking Treasure, and it's a very interesting docudrama about how a company searches for treasure, how they find it, they scoop it up, the type of boats they use. Very, very interesting, actually. It interested me, piques my interest right away, and I was looking for that sort of in the fall coming up. But I want you to know that the experience my wife and I had for the gentleman Kyle Kennedy, who is the CEO and owner of the Seafarer Exploration Corporation. Well, I got to tell you, he was gracious, and he fed us too much. So that's why I'm keeping my jacket on. Other than that, well, you have to laugh. Well, all right. Other than that, welcome to my show. And Michael Santo and John Lennon. You got something going on with John Lennon. First of all, tell me a little bit about you before we talk about Mr. Lennon. Tell me about you.
Me, I'm just a blue-collar kid with a real nice job. I'm a practicing lawyer. I belong to the firm of Duffy and Uniondale. So we're litigators. We handle medical malpractice and personal injury lawsuits.
Wow.
And with my spare time, I'm a part-time judge, village judge in South Floral Park. That's in Nassau County.
Right, right.
So I sit once a month. And I'm also involved in a lot of other hobbies and projects and anti-gang issues and in Uniondale, because I give back to my community where I grew up. Okay. But in this particular case, this involves John Lennon.
And in New York City.
Yes. Well, I'm a city boy. I grew up in Queens.
Up. Now you're speaking my language.
There you go. Well,
you know, my next guest went to my high school.
After you or before you?
He went after me. I wish I was his age. And we got to look forward to that on our next show. Waldo Cabrera from MyLongIslandTV.com. Very honored to have him here tonight. He went to the High School of Art and Design. How many times have I mentioned that name on television here? Art and Design with Tony Bennett and God knows the other 90 other people, Mark Jacobs and Calvin Klein. They all went to my school.
Oh, that's really cool.
It is.
Yeah.
Tell me about your judging first. What do? You marry people?
Actually, under New York State law, I can marry people. I have married people. And the joke is I've married my niece.
Oh, you married your niece?
Yeah, of course I have.
That runs in his family too. All right, good.
I can marry anyone as long as they have a license.
Hold on.
Anywhere in New York State.
I'll
marry you again.
Okay, we can be married again?
Yes.
Do we really want that?
And I charge.
Let me think about that.
Hold on. She was looking for the receipt last week. She wanted to take me back.
You're not taking, no, she's not leaving you. You're not leaving her.
No, please. Not after that. I don't want to do that.
I charge people, and the checks go directly to one of my charities.
That's very nice of you. That's wonderful. Awesome, awesome. Any really weird marriages or anything like that?
No, some really nice ones, though. I had a neighbor who had a terminal disease.
Oh, no.
And his daughter was scheduled to be married in June, and it didn't look good for him. And his daughter and his future son-in-law did something really sweet. They decided to get married within the next few days in his bedroom because he was bedridden. And they asked me to do the ceremony, and I jumped at it, and we did it. And thank God, because the man he boiled over with such love. And then, unfortunately and predictably, he passed away within a few days. When I did that, and I was part of that, I just felt so filled with love from a person like that.
That's beautiful.
Wow.
That's my best story. Other people, of course, I know that they're getting married, and I also know when I leave, they're going to get divorced. I'd say over/under is a year. But either way, I'm happy to help people.
There must be telltale signs.
Telltale signs are really body language, how they touch each other and how they move, and the eye movement. You two are in love. Listen, you jumped on his couch. I watched you. You jumped on his couch. You didn't just walk
Sit
over
closer,
and sit down.
darling. Sit closer.
I gotta lean over here.
That's a good sign as well. Either way, but what I do in the village is we handle basically zoning issues, parking issues, VTL issues. Been doing it for 20 years. It's kind of boring, but also I'm giving back to the community because
nice.
I don't get paid much. It's not for the payment. It's for the ability to give back to a community because I've been very, very fortunate. Like I said, I grew up in a blue-collar neighborhood in Uniondale. My folks didn't graduate high school. So the fact that I have this degree, I'm able to give back to people because I'm doing fairly well in terms of what I do. And it's really important. It just gives me a lot of fulfillment.
Awesome. Now, your daughter went into television proudly.
Well,
she's got a lead from Mr. Sabatino to go over at NBC.
Carl Sabatino.
Unbelievable man.
I don't know if it was you or Carl.
Both. We actually both helped.
My daughter Vanessa spent the summer working for NBC.
NBC.
And now she's working for a big cable company in Times Square.
And look at that.
And she likes it. She loves what she's doing.
You know, anybody who is into this world will tell you that it's more hours than you ever want to put in, but they love it, and I love it. I can't get enough of it.
Like to say, it's not work if you enjoy what you do.
You know what? I have a friend named Frankie, good friend of mine. He always says his father told him that if you love what you do for a living, you'll never work a day in your life, and I'll never forget that.
It's true. A lot of people think that's nonsense, but it's really true.
It's very true, very true, very true.
I love what I do too, and something like this project.
I was going to say, and speaking of love, let's talk about this project now. Let me see that statue. I'm going to hold that up a little bit.
Okay. This is a maquette. A maquette is basically a prototype. This stands 13 inches tall. It's made of bronze. This is a one-off, meaning that this was made specifically for,
I can get a close-up
for
on
me,
that,
based
yeah,
upon
thanks,
the commission.
It's really awesome.
It's also as heavy as hell, but go ahead.
Oh, you're weak. The
You're
artist,
right.
the artist's name is Laura Leon, and she has an international reputation. She lives in the UK. She lives about 2 hours west of London, and I had the privilege of meeting her, seeing her studio, having a number of conversations with her over the phone, all about this project, because it started with a bust that she made of somewhere from the breast level up. She made this bust, and both she and I designed the rest of this.
It's beautiful.
We have a joint copyright in the U.S. Copyright Office, And our goal is to have something like this given to New York City.
Okay.
Given to New York City. We're not looking for money. We want this because this is not about John Lennon, the man or the musician, so much as it is about this peace symbol.
That's a beautiful statue. I got to say that's
Thank you.
beautiful. We've got some photographs, Vicki, maybe a little earlier than normally, but if you got a second, throw them up, and I want to just highlight this. They are some beautiful photographs, and if you wouldn't mind, Mike, take a look at the studio screen here, and you could be able to tell us what they are. I keep
Yeah,
going?
right, so
we'll get back to it in a second. Go ahead.
What we're going to see about the statue is that he's leaning on a peace symbol, and in the peace symbol are lyrics from 4 different songs
Oh, my
that
God.
all speak to peace and speak to positive image issues. And if you went back to the 1960s, it was relevant because of the Vietnam War.
Right.
If you went to the next decade, it was relevant because of another war. And you know the story? There's a war every day in this world.
Yeah, there really
And
is.
I'm not trying to be ultra optimistic or ultra.
No, you're fine.
The idea is that there's always room for peace.
Sure.
And people tend to be scared about what's going on today with ISIS or with other wars that we don't even read about.
So let's see. We got some pictures up here. Now, this picture here, I believe, is a statue. But tell me a little bit about it and anything more so we can give the viewing
All right,
audience.
now the purpose of the statue, we're trying to create a 6-foot statue. Laura Lee
6
and
foot.
I, yeah. And again, we want this donated to New York City. We don't have the money for it.
Right.
But we're looking for a benefactor who would step up to the plate and say, I'm interested in having this erected in New York City so that the public, not just in New York, by the way,
Right.
because New York is an absolute international city.
Of course.
People
Of
from
course.
around
It's
the world
global.
visit.
Global.
It grows by tenfold during the summers. Sometimes they're annoying, but for the most part, they bring a lot of positive things to New York.
Sure.
And this would be an absolute major attraction as far as I'm concerned. And I can't guarantee, but I'm going to tell you that I believe that when this gets done, not if, when this gets done,
Right.
this will probably be the most photographed statue aside from the Statue of Liberty and maybe those 4 guys on some mountain out west.
Yeah, and you know, the funny thing about those 4, they're actually making 2 more of them. One for me and one for Tom.
Well, then you can't go wrong. But I really believe that this will attract a lot of people, and there's some unique things about this. Most statues are there to look at. This statue's different. This statue is going to be erected so that it stands on a platform of about 2 feet, surrounded by low shrubbery and flowers in the front, and with an entrance from the rear so that people can actually walk up behind the statue and lean on the peace symbol from the other side and have their photograph taken with John Lennon. And then those photographs will be sent around the world, I guarantee you.
Oh, sure.
Internet,
Oh, sure.
Facebook.
Oh, gosh.
And it won't stop. And people will say, where's that statue? This is not the only statue of John Lennon. Interestingly enough, why am I driven and why do I have this dedication and ambition? It's because I'm a city guy, and there's nothing in New York City about John Lennon except for a mosaic designed by and installed by the good people of Naples or people from Italia.
Ah.
But it's a mosaic and a sidewalk. And all the
Yeah, who the hell wants to see a mosaic? Right.
I do, it's nice. It says, I love it.
Yeah,
Jerry.
screw it. It's a mosaic. We don't want that. We want the real thing. Let's get that straight.
We want the real thing, Jerry. And the mosaic says imagine, which is fine.
I can imagine, yeah.
And this is not just John Lennon, it's a peace symbol.
Right,
And so
it's true.
we really believe that John deserves this. We believe the city deserves it. We believe the world deserves it. Because further than this being erected in New York City, we're envisioning this same type of statue with some differences, of course, can be erected in Mexico City, Paris, other cities in Japan and Germany, especially Hamburg, where the Beatles cut their teeth.
That's exactly right. Anybody who knows anything about the Beatles, Hamburg is where they really got it. And
That's right.
if you've gone to Beatle Fest like I have gone,
One time for me.
you would know that the Beatles used to get the 45 records from the States. They would listen to Chuck Berry and the like, but the records were somewhat bent, and what they would hear, their impression, this is what it must be like. So they went ahead and imitated that, not realizing they were creating their own sound.
It's true. They loved Elvis. They loved Muddy Waters, all the blues guys.
Elvis didn't really like the Beatles so much. That's what I knew in history.
That was his problem. But,
yeah, it was, but he was not the most fun person.
So we see this statue being the first
Right.
of an international series. And I think the world will embrace this. I really do.
I think that Paul and Ringo would be the first two people to come and help dedicate it that night.
I would believe that,
That would
too.
be really
Getting to them is a whole
amazing.
different story. And I thank you for having me on your show because I'm just hoping...
Well, you owe me 25 cents.
That's okay. Because I'm hoping that one of your viewers will recognize this.
Okay, everybody, you hear that? Take it down now and immediately recognize this statue.
And say, I know someone who knows Paul McCartney or Ringo or a benefactor, or perhaps they're interested in helping this move along. Maybe they know someone who would like to endorse this. We do have the endorsement of Julia Baird, John Lennon's sister.
John Lennon's sister, that's
We
correct.
have the endorsement of Sid Bernstein, God rest his soul.
Everybody knows Sid Bernstein because of Carl, but that's fine.
Well, no, people know Sid Bernstein because he brought the Beatles to America. He was responsible for the British
I
invasion.
know him because of my friend, but all right, fine.
Carl Sabatino introduced me to Sid Bernstein, and at that time, Sid was in his 90s, full of wit, absolutely a charming man. He brought the Beatles here. He started it all in terms of the United
Yes.
States. But of course, before that, the Beatles also got a great deal of help from other folks.
They did, and I'll tell you, do you know, this is true, that back in the Cavern Club days, when Paul was sick and needed a singer, they'd call up Mick and say, Mick, come on over. No one knows this.
No, I didn't know that.
And they would intermingle bands because they all were the same bunch of guys.
Really?
They all did, and they would all intermingle. Wait, we got something going on here, so can you come sing with us? No problem, sir. Get up there. And that's what they did. They would intermingle, and not just that. That's how Ringo got to sit in from Rory Storm and the Hurricanes.
Yes.
He sat in for Pete Best one night, and why Pete Best was asked out of the band was because he was too good looking and we're getting competition here, so all girls are going to him, got rid of him, and that's what they did.
You're impressing me, Jerry. That's
Why am I
good.
impressing you now?
'Cause I didn't know that.
It's true.
Yeah.
And
I
Ringo got
thought It was
in.
the British accent.
No.
It was okay. It was okay. I'll give you a B+.
I got a chance one summer, and I'll just take a quick second and say this. I got a chance to see Avril Lavigne, the Backstreet Boys, my love Kelly Clarkson, and Paul McCartney. Now, I happen to love Kelly. Backstreet Boys were very good, and Avril was shocking, and I loved it. But nobody came close to the polish of Paul McCartney. And when everyone there, you could hear a pin drop. He would talk to people, help the Hofner here, and this is the one, yeah, this is the one from the movies. And everybody would listen, and when, they took a small break, Paul would talk to the people. It was like the second coming of Christ. So far, I got the Christians against me for this and somebody else for this comments. But really, everybody was mesmerized to hear him speak to them. Unbelievable. McCartney was phenomenal. But John would have been just as good, I'm sure. Who was your favorite Beatle?
Paul McCartney. I'm sorry.
You're erecting a statue of John
I'm
Lennon.
telling you the truth. It's
And
Paul
you're
McCartney. You want me to lie?
No, not on national.
It's Paul McCartney for a lot of
Okay.
other reasons. But John Lennon was kind of a rebel type of fellow.
Yes, he was.
He
was
had a lot
rebel.
of grit, and he was the force behind this. Paul was the businessman, but he had a lot of imagination, John.
That's right. And did you know,
And
since you're saying it,
Yeah.
that George and Ringo were really backup in their mind?
That's true.
And so was
Yeah.
Stu Sutcliffe, who got killed in Hamburg.
Yeah.
There was 5 Beatles, actually.
Yes.
Stu got killed. The real 5th Beatle was Stu Sutcliffe, and he got killed.
But I'm going back to my original point, Jerry.
Go ahead.
This is not so much about John.
No, it's about
the
peace.
symbol. And when you think about a person
Right.
on an international level, who do you think about peace besides the Pope and Mother Teresa?
I actually don't think of Mother Teresa or the Pope.
Well,
I'll think more of John Lennon.
I do, because there's always hope afterwards. But John Lennon is right up there. I'm afraid to die.
All we are saying is give peace a chance. I sang on
Michelle,
national
you
television.
okay?
Yeah.
I'm watching this.
What do you think of this beautiful statue?
I think it's gorgeous.
That's very heavy. What is it made of?
That's bronze.
And what is the real one going to be?
Bronze.
So that real one, that's a 13-inch the real one's going to be very, very heavy.
Well, a lot of those statues are. When you see big statues in big cities, they're heavy. They're lifted by cranes and installed on cement blocks. This is going to be no different.
I love the idea that there's 4 songs.
Right, 4 songs all about peace.
Well, I tell you, Laura Leon deserves so much credit. She's remarkable. First of all, I'm not going to tell you her age, but she looks 20 years younger, and she has a lot of energy. And the pieces that she has on her own website, I forget offhand, but Laura Leon, Lian, something like that. She's in the UK. If you would look at her website, it's terrific.
What we should do is have you
terrific.
back on. We're not going yet, but we should have you back on and do a Skype with her.
That would be wonderful.
We can bring a Skype right onto the set here. That's because of Madhouse TV. That's Tom Mealy. He's the technology man over here for sure. We could bring her on there, Skype with her, and you could actually tell her about this. I think that would be a wonderful thing.
Well, I appreciate that. That'd be
Surely,
terrific.
that won't be a problem at all. In fact, when it's time, we'll go with the camera crew. I'll go down to the city, and we know we'll take some good clips of that going on. Where in the city exactly did you have that mindset?
Obviously, Strawberry Fields would be the perfect location.
Yeah.
Right by that mosaic that we talked about.
Yeah.
The mosaic happens to be in a configuration of a Y. You have 2 paths coming into one.
Oh, okay.
A wider path. And right where that V is formed would be a perfect location for the statue.
I think it'd be wonderful.
Of course, we would need some heavy hitters to back that.
Yes.
Because the Central Park was run by the Central Park Conservancy. And without their backing, and therefore Yoko Ono's backing,
Right.
it's not going nowhere. Other good locations would be in the village, perhaps Washington Square Park.
That's nice.
There are the private concerns, by the way. This can very well wind up on a private location in a building. I really prefer not to have that done.
Well, I think what you're saying in Strawberry Fields sounds like the place it should be.
Absolutely.
All about,
That
all
would be
about that.
awesome.
Let me ask you a question. If people wanted to get to know this, there's a Facebook page or a web. What are those? Please tell us.
The Facebook page is John Lennon, New York City Statue Project. If you do a search, John Lennon statue, you're going to come up with
You're going to come up with that.
And we have over 100,000 people who have liked it. And what's interesting about that is that I could break it down as the administrator of that website.
Sure.
And look at all of the people and where they're from. It's over 20 different languages.
Wow.
More than 30 countries. And the largest number of hits come from the Mexico City area. I can't
Really?
explain it. Can't explain it. I don't know why. And South America, it comes next. But there's a great number of people from Japan because of Yoko Ono's connection.
Oh, sure.
And I think the folks from Europe already know John Lennon. This is not new to them. And they have statues in places like Spain of John Lennon holding a guitar. There's a statue in Cuba,
Oh,
in Havana,
there you
Cuba,
go, Cuba.
which I like very much. He's sitting on a park bench. And he's wearing his typical iconic sunglasses.
Right, the
not
iconics.
holding a guitar. And the other locations are the John Lennon International Airport in Liverpool, which is a very nice statue. And
wow.
Yoko Ono went there and she gave the blessing. There are other statues in Liverpool by the Cavern Club. And there's one other location, I believe in Peru. But none of them have anything like this involving a piece.
I was going to say involving peace. That's what makes yours unique.
Another good location in New York City would be on the property or the land of the UN. Because
That's a very interesting place, sure.
This is an international statue. That's a really tough thing to work out, by the way. I've tried some entreaties with the embassies. And
Wow,
I got
that's
the stock responses. But I think New York City would really embrace this. We have a very progressive mayor in de Blasio, and I think his administration would find this a very attractive addition to the city. I really do. And if it comes for free, how can you say no?
That's right.
You know what? Something that beautiful representing peace. Again, not John himself, but in general, peace. Because New York City is that kind of a place, really. It's it's a melting pot. It's a cosmopolitan area. Everybody loves New York City for what it is. There's more people there than anywhere that I can think of.
And there's another concept that we can build on. It's called Peace Day. It would be John Lennon's birthday.
Peace
That's
Day.
right.
That's a
October
great
9th.
idea.
It's not a new idea, by the way. Other people have thought about it. It's a great idea. But Peace Day would generate people who don't know each other. You just go up and say hello. Can I help you with those bags?
That's very
Cross
nice.
the street. Be extra nice. Call up your mother-in-law. Say, I'm sorry. anything like that. Or maybe don't call up your mother-in-law. But either way, it would be a day when you could recognize that this is a day where you go out to be nicer to people than you have before. Don't be such a jerk.
Yeah.
Do something nice. You can make it Peace Week, Peace Month, and ultimately, and I know I'm being really...
That's all right. It's wonderful.
It's a move in the right direction. How could anyone say no? This is like apple pie a month, as far as I'm concerned.
As far as I'm concerned, too. So, hold hands.
Kumbaya.
All we are saying is give peace a chance. Hope this doesn't screw up my theme. All right, I'm Jerry Parisi. Thanks for watching the Filmmakers Show here on Madhouse TV. If you're watching this live tonight, stick around. Waldo Cabrera from MyLongIslandTV.com will be here. If you're watching this on Cable 20, we'll see you next week. Either way, the Filmmakers Show is for you. Good night, everybody.
Ciao.
I'm Tom Mealy from Madhouse TV, and when I'm not at the studio, I'm here at the Harrison Law Group. This is my real job. And this January 2015, Brett and I are putting together a show called Legal Straight Talk. It'll be aired on Cablevision as well as here at Madhouse TV. You need to tune in. This information that we're going to be giving the public is the real deal. It's all about what you should do, what you shouldn't do. So tune in this January 2015 for a new episode of Legal Straight Talk.
Hi, I'm Jerry Parisi. Join Tom Mealy and Tommy Marr right here on Cablevision Channel 20 each week for an interesting episode of The Long Island View.
I am Tommy Marr,
Otherwise known as the Maverick Soul.
and I am live in the Madhouse.
For my show, Maverick Soul Hour.
Come and join us. It's the place to be.
right here on Madhouse TV, Sunday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And we will put you out to the entire world.
You got that right.
I'm Violetta Analakari.
And I'm Leland Prater.
And I'm Shirley Nichols. And I'm watching Madhousetv.com.
You're watching MadhouseTV.com. Stay tuned for the Filmmaker Show starring Jerry Parisi.
Hi, I'm Jerry Parisi. Welcome to the Filmmaker Show tonight here on MadhouseTV.com. Have some very interesting guests again tonight, and one that I am proud to say also went to that same school I mention every single week, the High School of Art and Design. Let me hammer that home, the High School of Art and Design, special school. With me tonight, producer, director, extraordinaire, Walter Cabrera from MyLongIslandTV.com on our station tonight. And with me, Michelle Parisi. We're all ready to go, and welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you know, I am more than honored to have you because you're the first other bigger name next to me that's come on.
Oh, well, you went to the High School of Art and Design. You know?
Well, did we hammer that home enough?
You know what? I have
that?
to say, I'm so proud to have gone to that school.
Oh, God.
10 periods of schooling.
That's right.
Half a day of art.
More
half
than
a
that.
day of academics.
Did we do academics?
It's in between art. In between art.
I don't remember.
Everybody seems to say that they've done academics that I've met from art and design, except for Jerry.
Where was I? I was cutting classes going, I got all A's. I don't know. I did something right.
No, I used to love going to the 7th floor.
Oh,
when
my
I was
God,
a freshman
yeah.
in the 7th floor,
Sure.
they had the figure drawing class.
Oh, my
And they had
God.
the brown paper on the glass, and
You know,
kinda get a
it's
peek
so
in.
funny you said that because here I am in the 9th grade, you know, and I was like, all right, what's my first set of classes? I'm excited because I'm getting advertising later on and commercial art and illustration. Oh, you can do figure drawing. All right, figure drawing, fine. Suddenly I go in, they're putting that brown paper up on the windows, little windows.
Yeah.
So what are they doing? And all of a sudden this girl disrobes. I'm like, ah! You want to show a 9th grade boy this? I love them. But you want to know what? In 2 hours later, in all honesty, I was sitting there and I was drawing muscle tone and tones of skin because, as you know, and you hear, all of us have different colors, different parts of our body. My face is gorgeous brown, and my hands are ugly pink, you know.
Mine is a deep shade of brown. You know, he's gorgeous, I'm deep, you know, it's all right.
What I would have get to been on a beach this year. But anyway, let's talk about you and all your shows, and I have to say one shameless plug. You have plugged me, which everybody else seems to do, as Long Island's Mr. Scrooge. Why?
Yeah. Well, first of all, the My Long Island TV show is something that I started in 2007.
Right.
In order to feature the positive people on Long Island.
Right.
Because I would always love the last 2 minutes of the nightly news. You know? Yes. Making a difference and that part. You know, there's all the murders, that there's bombings and all that stuff. And
that
then
makes a difference in the world.
The last 2 minutes, you get some positive news.
You do.
So I said, you know what? I want to make a whole half hour about that.
Positive news. That's wonderful.
So when I came to Long Island, and then I found out about the Port Jeff, the Dickens Festival.
The Dickens Festival way back then. Yeah.
So the Dickens Festival, and I remember that one year, that first year that I saw everyone. I fell in love with the Dickens Festival, and then you were going around.
You and how many millions of women? Wait.
So there was this great thing. I was asking people what's their favorite Christmas song.
Right.
And I'm asking people what's their favorite Christmas song.
I remember being.
And then I asked you, and you were like, I'm Scrooge. I'm like, okay.
I don't have a song.
What song do you hate the most?
Every one of them.
Now when you're talking my language, I hate it all.
Hold on, you do a good Jerry Parisi. I like that.
No, Jerry Parisi as Scrooge. You know,
unbelievable. It just keeps happening.
So no, I was just fascinated by that whole taking over the village, and then you did do a fantastic job.
Thank you.
And I go all over Long Island, and I meet a lot of people, and when someone does a great job, our job is to talk about how good things are. Hopefully people go out there, flood the town and make the event even more successful.
Well, you know what, when Michelle and I were Belle on the cover of Newsday, for example, we also did Penn Station with the Rockettes. And then we, of course, moved on now. We proudly do a real play at the Bethpage Restoration. And that's exciting to us because now more people see it. But it also gives us a chance to do something we couldn't do more of. And that frees us up to go to more nursing homes. We also went to the vets home. The vets homes we started going to. And really, really, in my opinion, it's a good thing because it's our dress rehearsals for the real shows that people are paying for. And sometimes we put, 15 or 16 shows?
Yeah.
About 16 shows,
But it's a beautiful thing because we bring the Christmas Carol to nursing homes where the residents can't get out.
Yeah.
So
you know what I like about A Christmas Carol?
What's that?
Everyone knows the ending. But it's still, you get, it's like, you get caught up. You know how it ends.
Do you know what? I'm actually involved in a movie, but I can't talk about it. But it's not at that at all.
Oh, it ends differently?
I can't even go into it, but I'll tell you.
Then is it A Christmas Carol?
No,
is it
no, it's not.
Oh,
okay.
It's not.
Right. It's not. But remember this, it's a humbug to you. Tell me more about some of the other shows you have on mylongislandtv.com.
What I have with My Long Island TV is a news magazine.
Got it.
So it's a news magazine. It airs every day, twice a day.
Wow.
On another network.
You can say it. It's not a big deal. This is Madhouse. We're global.
Okay, on Verizon Fios.
Yeah.
So and that was a great opportunity because I don't know many people that can reach over 700,000 people every day, twice a day.
No.
And we produce 156 episodes a year. So because I'm producing so much content within the My Long Island TV, there are other things, sub shows in there.
That's unbelievable.
That I use it as a sort of like a testing ground. Try to see what sticks, what could be
absolutely
blown up into something
very
bigger.
wise. Absolutely, I agree with you. In fact, that's an amazing thing that you've got. I've watched My Long Island TV many times. I don't watch a lot of TV, in all honesty. In fact, I've never seen myself in Caught Red-Handed, but I had a whole episode. I never watched The Americans to see me as a bellhop. There's a lot of things I do, but I just don't have the real time.
Yeah.
Now, you probably have less time than me because that many hours you're editing, you're in there cutting, and you're also filming. You're
I do have a staff.
Oh yeah.
Because
you're overseeing it like a creative director now.
Right. I'm the producer. I'm the executive producer, and it is an insane amount of time, and but it's my time. If I were to be putting in these hours for somebody else, I would be very angry. But I'm up to 2 in the morning. I'm ignoring my wife.
Please, I know.
But
those
she
days
understands
too.
it's all for the greater good, but it's because we're building something and creatively. Since we were 13 years old, we were taught about the importance of creating something.
Absolutely.
And the pride that you have when there's nothing, and then
There's
because of you,
something.
there's something.
Right.
Whatever that may be, whether it's a sculpture, whether it's a drawing, whether it's just, a TV show, there was nothing, now there's something, and there's a ton of pride in that.
It's very funny you say that. I was just telling somebody that when we, the art and design people, and of course any other creatives that went to other schools, you put your name on something. That means something. That's a real signature that in my book, it's integrity. It's all about putting your heart and soul into something. And it never ends. It never ends. We creatives continually push the envelope. Remember, we were told, push the envelope. What else were we taught to do? Break old habits, break old traditions. Am I right or wrong with that?
I was told that if you don't fail, you're not trying hard enough.
And that's very interesting.
Yeah.
If you don't fail, you don't try hard enough.
You're not trying hard enough.
You guys speak the same language here.
That's
No,
because we
but
were
come on,
taught-
don't you? Does that make sense?
It all absolutely makes
if
sense.
you're being
Yes.
creative and everything you do is successful, that means that you're not going over the edge. You're not pushing that line, and that's what creativity is all about.
Right.
That's what it's all about.
And it is that way. And what's our biggest enemy? The word safe. Let me do that safe. I think I'll just do it that way.
Are you going to
Safe.
do it with quotes, air quotes? No.
Safe. And what that means, obviously, is you're not willing to take a chance and get yelled at. You're not willing to push the envelope. You're not willing to change people's mindsets. That's what we do.
Plus, since the caveman started drawing on the wall,
Yes.
there's been creativity. So, you have all of human history to compete with.
It's
not just,
true.
what your friends did last week. So you have to always evolve. You have to change.
Who did the caveman piss off? God. He created the man. Why are you drawing on my wall?
You think they took him away in shackles or something like that?
Probably. That's what happened. They pissed off God. Could you imagine how angry he was? Oh my gosh! You just drew on my wall, but I had to. Why? Because you see, we had to push the envelope.
Now, if you're, would that be? Is that tagging up? Is that graffiti on a
No,
cave wall?
not at all. Not at all.
Like
Don't,
in
no,
Lascaux? Is it in Lascaux?
no,
in
no,
France?
no. It was probably the first ad agency, Cavemen, Men, and Men. And that's the way that worked. They didn't have women back then, so they probably would have had secretaries. But still, they drew on the walls, and they ruined caves and everything else. But they set our bar that we had to do the same thing. Besides, there's problems going on in heaven right now anyway.
I don't even know how to answer that.
I'm going to tell you.
I wish I had a good comeback for that.
Jerry, you stumped him.
The economy is so bad that I lay off 6 apostles recently. Mary Magdalena reopened the massage parlor, and they close they're only open Monday to Friday. They close on the weekends. If you die on a Sunday, you got a line on Monday morning to get in. It's terrible.
So you're like in what is that? In between heaven and hell for the weekend on Sunday?
Purgatory. No, they
You're in
deleted it. No, they cut back on that. It's no longer
No,
there.
purgatory. You're neither here nor there.
Well, you need here.
Right?
You're neither here nor
But
there.
back to the show.
Yes.
And what I'm doing with it is, for example, I love traveling around Long Island, and so many people like to go to Disney, leave and go to Canada, wherever it is. But we have 110 miles of absolute beauty.
We do.
And one of the segments that we have is called Destination Long Island, where we go in there and we feature small towns, hotels, bed and breakfast, just to let people know.
That's very nice.
We also have another segment called Made on Long Island.
Made on Long Island.
Now, Long Island for the longest time was New York City's factory.
Yes, it was.
But, we're able to afford a great quality of life because
we do.
You can be employed here.
Yes.
You can have you can do everything on Long Island. You don't have to leave because there are jobs on Long Island. So we like to feature those people that are providing jobs to our families. Well, and and it goes on. I mean, there's so many segments that we have, but they all have to do with focusing on the positive things and the things you didn't know about Long Island.
Oh, sure. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of history to Long Island that people don't know about. It's interesting.
Like in Hauppauge, oh my God, in Hauppauge, I went to this company that's manufacturing parts for nuclear submarines.
Wow, in Hauppauge. Isn't that amazing?
Like 3 minutes away from my house. And my favorite story was when after 2 years of trying, I was allowed by the United States government to go into Plum Island.
Really?
Yes.
Now that's interesting. And they don't grow fruit on Plum Island, but what do they do?
There are no plums on Plum Island.
There's no plums on,
that's for sure.
What's on Plum Island?
Well, Plum Island is an animal disease center where they test, in particular, foot and mouth disease. they found the vaccine and they figure out different ways to, or faster, more efficient ways to eradicate it. And they're also working on a cure for African swine flu.
Really?
Wow.
Which there is, it just kills animals, period, But I learned a lot, and it was weird because I was allowed to take food in, right? I'm allowed to take food onto the island, but if I don't finish that sandwich,
It's gonna be thrown away.
you can't bring it out.
Right.
And I'm like, wait a minute, so why not? So I'm trying to figure out. So when I got home, I scrubbed.
I was gonna say, wait a
I
minute.
was scrubbing.
You can't take food. You can't take the food. What
But
about
I
you?
guess, what about me?
I don't know.
They didn't put me through a steam bath. They didn't, nothing.
That guy walk up to you with a power wash. He knocks you into the next room. I can imagine.
Go through a car wash.
But I'm there with my camera, and I was followed the entire time by an armed guard.
Oh, I bet.
And there was lots of rules, places I couldn't videotape,
Right.
because theoretically, if the wrong footage got into the wrong hands, that could be
Yes.
used as a weapon of mass destruction. The foot and mouth disease only affects hoofed animals, but you're talking about pigs, cows, sheep, and all those other things. That we eat.
Horses?
No,
Not horses.
no, it's the type of hoof.
Oh, it's a type of hoof.
Yeah, so I guess the horse has a round hoof, and you have a
Oh,
sheep.
excuse me. It's interesting.
And there are no deer.
No deer.
On Plum Island.
None.
If a deer swims onto Plum Island, federal snipers take them out
No.
because they could have whatever disease it is and swim off.
Oh, that's so sad.
Well,
But then
it is-
again,
you
what are you going to do? It is what
it's
it
like
is.
that sandwich. You can't take it off the island. You can't.
But you
So-
were allowed off the island.
Exactly.
So I'm assuming there's no deer sandwiches at Subway over there, right?
No. But it's a absolutely fascinating place. It's fascinating, and eventually it's going to move to Kansas. So
So let me get this straight. They're moving the whole. All right, heave ho! And they're going to
No,
bring the island.
the operation is moving.
the
So
island.
maybe in about 18 to 20 years, you'd be able to get a condo on that island. Hey,
There you go.
I'm thinking not.
you never know,
Nah.
What are some of the? Tell me about you as a. I can't keep. This is what happens when you put art and design people together.
I'm just thinking about what will grow in that garden.
I don't know.
Go out there, plant some tomatoes, and you don't know what comes out.
Fish with 4 eyes. But I planted a tomato, Ma. But it's not a tomato anymore. Don't take it off this island. What is you go around? You got your equipment. You do things. Have you ever had a problem shooting anything? Like, have you been said up, stop there, or don't do anything like that?
The most typical problem that I have is usually privacy issues with either children or people that just don't want to be on camera.
Oh, sure. I can understand the children part.
I try to be as sensitive as possible about privacy issues, and then there's some people who don't understand privacy. If you're in a park, in an open area, and there's no expectation of privacy, then
No,
you're out in the
100%
open.
right. Yeah, you're out in the open.
But when there's a sensitive situation, just recently I did a story about a memorial wall. There was names being added of police officers that died in 2014.
Okay.
And there were some families, especially the 2 officers that were assassinated by the guy from Baltimore, Lou and Ramos. Those guys, their family just didn't want to talk to anyone, but every camera was trained on them, but they didn't want
Sure.
to talk. And we had to respect their privacy, but still you had to get the shot.
Sure.
So it's a tough situation. It's a tough situation because you're sitting there and and they just can't hold the emotions back, and you don't want to seem like you're exploiting them.
No,
But
I
it's a
totally get
story.
it. Yeah, it's a story. What type of cameras do you guys use?
I have 3 Panasonic shoulder-mounted cameras, HD. I chose to go shoulder-mounted because when you go out there and you're next to
that's
the
a
big
good
boys,
idea.
you
Yeah.
walk into the room, people know you're serious.
Yes.
But there are more powerful and better cameras that are handheld. But
I
I still
see.
show, the shoulder camera,
Yeah, I get it too.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean.
But it does. It makes you look like a newsman when you walk into a room, and there's a lot of things.
Do you come with
perception-
a separate mic man and a boom?
No. The economics of the current journalism business is, generally you're one-man gang unless it's a big story. Then I would bring somebody else along. for audio purposes, but most of the times you're a one-man gang. The equipment is small enough that you can manage it.
Sure,
You know,
sure.
Put a lavalier on someone.
Yeah.
But that's the one thing that raises a lot of eyebrows on people. You know, they're like, "It's just you?" I'm like, "Yeah." Me, myself, and I, we got this crew right
Sure,
here.
me, myself,
There
and
are
I.
three of us here,
Yeah.
me, myself, and I.
That's
Yeah.
No, so that, you know, it's like, it's good. It's neither here nor there, but it's just the way it is. You know, advertising is not what it was.
Oh,
you know,
God.
networks are not making the money. They don't have the budget. So you go out there, you do the story.
You know,
One-man gang.
And it's very interesting. People like Madhouse TV are gaining that now because, you know, Madhouse TV is able to be viewed on phones. I'm sure yours as well.
Yes.
And people are moving away from traditional television to move to these things, especially the fact that they want to watch certain things when they want to watch it.
On demand.
On demand, that's really it. What did you study at Art and Design?
Advertising.
So did I.
Advertising, yeah, you know, and the beautiful thing about advertising is that it's not that much different than news.
And filmmaking.
And
it's
you know,
it's all one big sister thing.
Yeah, and I just advertising and the fact that you have to train yourself, you have to tell a story in a short period of time. Concise.
Yes.
You have to get to
yes.
the point. It just makes you a better storyteller.
Not only that, you got to do it creatively because you got a nanosecond to capture someone's imagination. Nanosecond. If you don't have that nanosecond, that excitement, 1 second on, boom, you're out.
I mean, just imagine, you know, when someone's going through YouTube or on the web, you have a short window of opportunity.
That's it.
Where you're gonna get the viewer. So if you don't hook them early, you could have a 10-minute video, you could have a 5-minute video, but you have those few seconds at the beginning where we gotta suck them in, and then they'll stick with you. And I think that my advertising training, I went to art and design advertising, Syracuse University advertising, and then right out of college advertising.
Yeah, same as
You
me.
know,
Right out of college.
But eventually, what happened was my son was born.
Oh.
And in 2004, and I just didn't like the 3-hour commute. You know.
Yeah.
I would wake up in the morning. He was asleep. I would come home. He was asleep.
asleep.
So you know, I had to sort of like figure out what I have all these skills.
Wait a minute, you said you came home? How come I didn't come home? I'd watch sunups from my office at Ogilvy.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, it would be a situation where I would be in at 2 in the morning, and then I had to be on a 6 in the morning train.
Yeah,
that's just the way it was.
Yeah, it was. It really was.
So I just decided that I had to just reassess what do I need to do, and take a look at my skill set, and I thought that as a community activist and a person who knows a little bit about video and television, maybe I should be telling the community stories.
You do a beautiful job. I especially love the graphics on your channel. I love what you do, especially MyLongIslandTV.com. With you. I know, you see, that's really important stuff, believe it or not. There's part of catch.
Perception is reality.
Oh, and don't I say that all the time to you?
Absolutely.
Perception is reality. And that's why people...
If you look cheap, people are going to think you're cheap.
That's why people perceive me as good looking, and I'm really not.
You know what? Where's my...
Now you've said it all.
He's got it going on. Right now, he looks like a 10, but he's really a 12.
Yeah, let's get that. About now, Tom Mealy's back there rolling his eyes.
If he's a 12, I'm a 95.
Oh my God, that's hysterical. We got a few minutes to go, but I want to get you. So MyLongIslandTV.com. And
MyLITV.com. You can type in My Long Island TV, but that's too much time.
Actually, you're right. In fact, it's a misnomer. It's MyLITV.com.
Yeah.
That's very important to send people over to look at your work.
Yes.
And if they ever wanted to get in touch with the channel or anything like that, do you have a website? Do you have something that people can get to you with?
If anyone has any topics, any stories that they want me to cover, any ideas, you can just send an email to info@mylitv.com.
That's important to know. Info at MyLITV.
INFO.
INFO at MyLITV.com. Did we say that slow enough? That's wonderful.
No, but I love it. I love being able to tell the people's stories. And then when you bring to light the story of someone who's been doing great stuff in the community, but hasn't gotten the recognition, you can see that appreciation, and it's like, you know what, I'm doing the right thing right now.
It's amazing. And speaking of the right thing, The unfortunate right thing is that we are at the end of the show. So before I go, thank you, Michelle Parisi. Thank you, Walter Cabrera from Art and Design.
Art and Design.
And to Tom Mealy, Vicky Mealy, Janine Zarilli, and of course, Tommy Marr. We couldn't have a station without the insight, the energy, and the fortitude of those four driven people. So I am Jerry Parisi. This has been the Filmmaker Show. I want to thank you for tuning in tonight, and I look forward to seeing you watch our next show again. Good night, everybody.
Good night.